Steve, thanks for being with us this morning. I want you to tell us in your own words, what has this experience been like to deal with for a carrier that generates most of its revenue flying people across the Atlantic, not being able to take off from Britain?
Well, actually, flying people all around the world, it's been an incredible 6 days. I think I'm just very relieved, as I know everyone is at Virgin Atlantic, that we are up and flying again. And clearly the priority now, thousands and thousands of people have been affected by this. It's been very traumatic for them. We managed to operate 12 inbound flights last night, and we're going to operate our full schedule today out of Heathrow and out of Gatwick. And clearly the priority is to get as many people back as quickly as we can. So it's been quite an unprecedented period with the skies over the UK completely closed and over large parts of Europe.
Steve, how much has the whole closure cost Virgin?
Well, I think it's too early to say because we don't know the full extent of that at the moment, but it's certainly in the millions of pounds a day. It's affected not only Virgin Atlantic, but it's affected our tour operator company, Virgin Holidays. They've got over 10,000 customers in resort, and clearly we need to get them back. And it won't be until we get everyone back that we can assess that. And of course, we don't know what the damage going on beyond this is going to be in terms of what it may have done to consumer confidence, whether people think this is going to happen again and shut the skies. I hope it won't. I think we have a set of policies and protocols now enabling us to operate safely in these regions as we do in other parts of the world. So it's going to be very interesting going forward.
Steve, speaking of confidence, the airline, or at least the aerospace regulators, have such a fine balance to strike between safety and confidence. So much has been said, at least so many concerns have been raised that they overreacted and kept the skies closed for too long. What's your opinion?
Well, I think there's going to be a big wash-up to look at really what happened, because this is the first big incident in and around Europe that any of us can remember. Clearly there are volcanoes all around the world, and there are procedures about where you fly and how you fly, and we are very cautious. Obviously, safety is our #1 priority, of course, as it is the regulators. So these things come together. But there's no doubt there will be a big review of what happened, all the learnings that come out of it, and what else needs to be done going forward to make sure that everybody is fully confident, the engine manufacturers, the airframe manufacturers, and of course above all the airlines.
Steve, French airspace was open earlier. Germans were flying under a visual flight rule. I mean, do you have any comment as to the way those countries treated their flights versus the UK?
Well, I think it was a more sensitive issue in the UK because clearly we were nearer the source of the we were nearer the source of the pollution. So I'm getting something in my ear. Oh, sorry about that. Yeah, so clearly the UK had a bigger issue. It was the first to be in the firing line from this, and the authorities wanted to make sure that they were sending up monitoring flights, as well as talking to all the engine manufacturers, as well as ourselves, about our risk assessments of flying outside what's known as the no-fly zone.
Steve, one quick question before we go. Do you think airlines might want to consider paying into some kind of fund so at least they have something to draw from in case we end up in this kind of situation again?
Well, I think there's a whole compensation to be had. I mean, the airlines clearly are still recovering and reeling from the recession, and this was totally unforeseen. So I think there's already been indications from Brussels, from the Commission, that they are going to have to look at how airlines are compensated for this, because clearly this, for the industry, runs into hundreds of millions of pounds and euros.
No question. Many questions yet to be answered. Steve, thank you so much. Steve Ridgway, the CEO of Virgin Atlantic.